Number 10. Odd dog behaviors and what they actually mean. Script length, 3,920 words, approximately 26 minutes at 150 words per minute. Hook. When your dog stares at you with those wide, unblinking eyes while they're doing their business in the grass, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Most of us laugh it off. We look away, feeling a bit awkward, or we assume they're just making sure we aren't leaving them behind. But behind that strange, vulnerable gaze, there's something much deeper that most people miss. It's one of the most emotionally loaded things your dog can do. It's a moment of absolute primal trust, and if you misunderstand it, or worse, if you ignore the significance of why they chose you as their lookout, you might be missing one of the most profound messages of loyalty they've been trying to send since they were a puppy. Let's start with what that awkward staring really means, and explore the other 9 strange things your dog does that are actually secret letters of love, written in a language most owners never learn to read. 1. The post-potty scuff. Why they wipe their feet. Have you ever watched your dog finish their business and then suddenly break into a frantic, high-energy dance, kicking up grass and dirt behind them like a bull preparing to charge? Most people think this is a matter of hygiene. We assume they're trying to cover up the mess, much like a cat in a litter box. We see it as a funny little cleanup ritual that shows they have a sense of tidiness. But here's what's actually happening. Your dog isn't trying to hide what they left behind. They are trying to amplify it. While we see dirt and grass flying, your dog is actually engaging in a behavior known as ground scratching. Dogs have specialized scent glands located between the pads of their paws. When they vigorously kick the ground, they are performing a dual-layered communication. First, they are leaving a visual bookmark in the earth, a literal scratch map that tells other dogs to look right here. Second, they are depositing pheromones from their paws that are unique to their identity. Think about that for a second. In the canine world, this isn't a cleanup. It's an "I was here" broadcast. It's the canine version of a social media check-in. By kicking that dirt, your dog is asserting their presence and their confidence in the space they share with you. What this reveals about your bond is equally powerful. Dogs who feel insecure or threatened in their environment rarely perform this behavior. When your dog kicks the grass after a walk, they are telling the world that they feel safe enough in your presence to claim this territory as their own. They aren't just marking a spot, they are announcing that they belong here, right by your side. And by the way, if your dog ever stops what they're doing to lean their entire body weight against your shins, don't brush it off as them being needy. We'll get to what that really means later, and it's something most owners wish they'd understood years sooner. 2. The play. Sneeze. The secret code of safety. Have you ever been in the middle of a high-energy wrestling match or a game of tug-of-war, only for your dog to suddenly stop and let out a series of loud, wet sneezes? The common assumption is that they've just sniffed up some dust from the carpet, or perhaps the excitement has triggered a mild allergy. You might even stop the game, thinking they need a moment to catch their breath. But here's what's actually happening. A 2017 study from the researchers at Eötvös-Loránd University, who specialize in animal cognition, found that these aren't accidental sneezes. Behavioral scientists call this a metacommunication signal. Because dogs play using behaviors that look like real hunting, nipping, growling, and pinning, they need a way to constantly reassure their partner that the violence is fake. The play sneeze is a linguistic tool. It's your dog saying, "I'm just pretending, this is all for fun." It's a way to keep the peace and prevent the excitement from escalating into actual aggression. Think about that for a second. When your dog sneezes during play, they are showing an incredible level of emotional intelligence. They are checking in on you. They are sensing the intensity of the game and proactively signaling their peaceful intentions to ensure you don't feel threatened. This reveals a beautiful layer of your relationship. Your dog cares about your comfort more than the game itself. They are constantly monitoring your reactions and using their own body to keep the environment safe and joyful. It's a sign that they view you as a playmate, Yes, but a playmate they respect and want to protect from any misunderstanding. 3. The inappropriate greeting. Why they sniff your crotch. We've all been there. A guest walks into your home and your dog immediately goes for the most awkward, sensitive area possible. You likely feel embarrassed, pull your dog away, and apologize for their rude behavior. Most people think it's just a lack of boundaries or a sign that the dog hasn't been trained properly. We view it through a human lens of etiquette and shame. But here's what's actually happening. Your dog isn't trying to be rude. They are trying to get to know you, or your guest, on a chemical level. Dogs possess an incredible sensory tool called the Jacobson's organ, located in the roof of their mouth. This organ allows them to taste scents in the air, particularly pheromones. The areas they target on humans are the most concentrated sources of these chemical signals. Through one quick sniff, your dog can determine your gender, your mood, your recent health status, and even if you've been around other animals. To a dog, your scent profile in those areas is like a detailed biographical summary. Think about that for a second. They aren't looking for a reaction, they are looking for information. They are trying to understand the emotional state of the person entering their pack territory. When they do this to you specifically after you've been away, they are reading your day. They are checking to see if you're stressed, if you're happy, or if you've encountered anything they should be worried about. What this reveals is that your dog views you as a living, breathing map of their world. They are so invested in your well-being that they use their most powerful biological tools to stay updated on your internal state. It's an act of deep curiosity and a desire for social synchronization. And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more dog lovers who actually want to understand what their best friend is really saying. 4. The donut versus the Superman. The secret language of sleep. Have you ever noticed that your dog has a preferred sleeping position, but it changes depending on the day? Sometimes they are curled into a tight, tiny ball, the donut, and other times they are stretched out on their belly with all four legs extended like they're flying, the Superman. Most owners think this is just about comfort or the temperature of the floor. We assume they're just finding a cozy spot. But here's what's actually happening. These positions are deeply rooted in their evolutionary history and their sense of environmental security. The donut position is a survival instinct passed down from their wild ancestors. By curling up, a dog protects their vital organs from predators and retains nearly 100% of their body heat. It is a defensive sleep posture. On the other hand, the Superman position is almost exclusively seen in dogs who are highly energetic and, more importantly, feel completely safe. In this position, their belly is exposed to the ground and their limbs are ready to spring into action. Think about that for a second. When your dog sleeps in a Superman pose, or even more vulnerably, on their back with their legs in the air, they are making a profound statement about your home. They are saying, I am so safe here that I don't need to protect my heart. I am so protected by you that I can let my guard down completely. Domestic dogs have adapted these wild survival traits to communicate their level of trust in their human pack. If your dog often sleeps in exposed positions around you, it's because they have classified you as a top-tier guardian. They can afford to be vulnerable because they know you are on watch. There you one. 5. The Velcro. Lean, why they press against your shins. Have you ever been standing in the kitchen or sitting on the sofa and your dog comes over and just leans? They don't bark, they don't jump, they simply press their entire body weight against your legs and stay there. Most people think the dog is being pushy or demanding space. You might move away thinking they are accidentally tripping you or being needy for attention. But here's what's actually happening. In the canine world, this is what behavioral scientists call social haptic communication. Because dogs don't have arms to wrap around you, they use their entire body to create a physical connection. This lean is essentially a canine hug. What makes this even more meaningful is that dogs are selective about who they lean on. They don't do this with strangers or people they don't fully trust. Physical leaning is a way of anchoring themselves to a person they perceive as their primary source of security and comfort. Think about that for a second. When your dog leans on you, they are seeking a oxytocin reset. Studies on domestic dogs reveal that sustained physical contact with a trusted human lowers a dog's heart rate and cortisol levels almost. They are looking for the reassurance of your physical presence. It's an intimate display of devotion that says, I feel most like myself when I am touching you. 6. The ultimate revelation. The vulnerable gaze. Remember earlier when I said that awkward stare your dog gives you while they're pooping is actually a message of primal trust? This is what I was talking about. Have you ever wondered why, in their most private and, frankly, unflattering moment, your dog locks eyes with you and refuses to look away? Most owners find this hilarious or a bit creepy. We assume they have no sense of privacy or that they're just waiting for us to finish the walk. We think it's just one of those weird dog things. But here's what's actually happening. In the wild, the act of eliminating is the most dangerous moment for a canine. They are physically compromised, their attention is diverted, and they cannot easily defend themselves from a predator. Because of this, wild dogs only do their business when they know a pack member is watching their back. When your dog stares at you during this moment, they aren't looking for privacy. They are looking for a safety signal. They are watching your body language to see if you look tense or if you're scanning the horizon. If you look calm, they feel safe to continue. Think about that for a second. Your dog is placing their life, in their own instinctual mind, in your hands. They are making themselves 100% vulnerable because they trust that you are their protector. They are looking to you as the leader of the pack, the one who will alert them if a threat appears. This is what most owners never realize. That gaze isn't awkward. It's an act of absolute surrender to your care. It is the deepest, most emotionally powerful sign of trust a dog can give. They aren't just going to the bathroom. They are entrusting you with their survival. Ninyoina 7. The warning, the truth about the guilty look. Finally, we have to talk about the one behavior that almost every owner misinterprets, and it's the one that can actually damage your bond if you aren't careful. Have you ever come home to a chewed-up shoe or a mess on the carpet, and your dog slinks away with their ears back, their tail tucked, and that guilty look on their face? Most people think they know what they did. Look how guilty they feel. We assume the dog is experiencing a moral conflict and feels bad for breaking the rules. But here's what's actually happening. A famous study from the University of Portsmouth confirmed that dogs do not actually experience guilt in the way humans do. What we call the guilty look is actually a set of appeasement signals. Your dog isn't reacting to what they did 5 minutes ago. They are reacting to your current body language, your scent of frustration, and your tone of voice. They aren't saying, I'm sorry for the shoe. They are saying, I'm scared because you're upset. Please don't hurt me or leave me. Think about that for a second. When you scold a dog for something that happened while you were out, they cannot link the punishment to the past action. They only feel the immediate fear of your disapproval. If this happens repeatedly, it can lead to learned helplessness or chronic anxiety.